If you don't like the U.S., get the hell out of the U.S. Well, that's what one Arizona family did. It's the Gastonguays family. And they're very, very right-wing, very extreme in their views. And they really felt that, you know, with our acceptance of gay couples and gay marriage and with reproductive rights and all those icky things like that, maybe you should get the hell out of the country and go live in the Kiribati Islands with a population of 100,000 people.
Good.
Well, the family did decide to do that. They took their newborn and their 3-year-old, went on a tiny little boat and tried to travel to the Kiribati Islands via tiny little boat. Well, a storm hit and then they were lost at sea for like 3 months.
Oops. Now, they said we're going to go wherever God takes us. Well, apparently he took you into an eye of a storm. So maybe you're not on God's side after all. Now, this would all be a great crack up, except for the fact that they brought a 3-year-old with them and a newborn.
I know, it's devastating. I mean, you are, first of all, your children should be taken away. And I know that's a really harsh statement to make, but if you think that you are being a good parent by putting your newborn and your 3-year-old in a small boat and trying to travel 3,000 miles to a tiny little island, you're crazy. You have issues and you shouldn't have children.
But look, I don't know if you've ever been in the Pacific Ocean when a major storm hits, as is very likely to happen in 3 months. Are you endangering the life and well-being of your kids? Of course you are. I mean, it's not even a question. So as it turns out, shockingly enough, they didn't wind up at their destination. Anna, where did they wind up?
Well, they wound up in Chile, and Chile has the most restrictive abortion law. So you would assume that they'd want to stay there. That's where God took them, right? No, we're actually going to spend our U.S. tax dollars because the U.S. State Department is flying them back to the United States. No, you shouldn't fly back to the United States. You're unpatriotic. First of all, you're misinformed. They believe that tax dollars are being used toward abortions. And obviously that is not happening. We have law after law indicating that that cannot happen. And they don't like gay people. So that's enough reason to want to leave the country because you don't like gay people. You're so intolerant and so hateful that you have to leave this entire country based on that.
And they say that we have a state-controlled church. Well, it's interesting that you don't like that, but you like a state-controlled plane that's going to take you back to the United States of America. I thought you didn't like it here. And first of all, great navigating that you were trying to wind up in Hawaii and wound up instead in Chile. Nicely done.
They have like no nautical experience. It would be like me getting on a boat and saying like, yeah, going to Kiribati. Like, no, I don't.
That sounds fun. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, and I should note that the mother in this situation is only 26 years old. And she says the following about the storm that she experienced. We were in the thick of it, but we prayed. Being out on that boat, I just knew I was going to see some miracles.
Yeah, well, here's how you're going to see a miracle that saved your life. By not getting on the boat in the first place, so then you wouldn't have needed a miracle. So dumb. No. God sent the storm, which nearly killed me and my young kids, but then he miraculously saved me. I know, God is totally preoccupied with your frickin' life.
No, 26-year-old Hannah continues. We didn't feel like we were going to die or anything. We believed God would see us through. And I genuinely think that she genuinely believes that God will see them through. And her final quote that enraged me the most, the months-long journey has been pretty exciting and a little scary at certain points. Pretty exciting? You could have died! Your children could have died! What is wrong with people?
Yeah, I mean, you want to have that kind of excitement on your own. You're an adult. Go have at it, Hoss, right? Just go out there in the middle of the sea and be like, Yahweh, what do I do now? There's a big frickin' storm. I'm really scared. Okay, have fun, right? But don't endanger the kids. But look, the main thing that I'm angry about is them using our money, the state's money, taxpayer money, to bring their sorry loser asses back to the country that they abandoned. If you thought God's going to take me somewhere and he took you to Chile and Chile's pro-life, why don't you stay there? I mean, how dare you to use the resources of the state that you say you disdain? Well, if the state is so bad and it's so anti-God, why did you get on that satanic plane of ours? Stay down in Chile and have a great time. By the way, Chile is a lovely country, except for the fact that they're far too pro-life. Okay.
Yeah, you cannot get an abortion under any circumstance in Chile. It's one of the most restrictive countries when it comes to reproductive
Maybe
rights.
there is a God. Do you see that? And you're spitting in his eye. And by the way, they have, of course, an ironic definition of pro-life because they nearly had their 2 young kids die in a severe storm because they were so stupid that they took them out there.